Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, June 11th of 2024. I'm Giovanni Betancourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets, and this is a recording previous to the opening of the U.S. trading session. All right, so yesterday we saw that awaited World Developers Conference from Apple, and I was expecting for them to come up with their own AI platform, AI software, but not. They apparently are going to be partnering with ChatGPT, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and you're going to have to use the new devices from the iPhone 15 and above to use those features. So that was a bummer in a way, because you will expect for a company with sitting on such a large pile of cash to have come up with their own AI software. Anyhow, that wasn't really sitting well with investors, even though the stock might be moving higher. But anyhow, let's just wait and see. On another front, gold prices are slightly lower in early U.S. Trading today. With silver prices posting solid losses, both metals are feeling the bearish effects of a recent strong rally in the U.S. dollar index and a rise in U.S. Treasury yields. Trading today and most of tomorrow is likely to be more subdued ahead of a major central bank meeting. This morning begins the Federal Open Market Committee meeting of the Federal Reserve. The meeting ends tomorrow afternoon with a statement and press conference from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. No changes in U.S. monetary policy are expected at this meeting, but as always, the rhetoric coming from the Fed will be parsed by the marketplace. So the guessing game is going to continue. Now, on Wednesday comes a key U.S. inflation report, the Consumer Price Index for May. The annual CPI is seen up 3.4%, which will be unchanged from the April annual CPI figure. And the euro currency remains wobbly in the aftermath of weekend parliament elections in the European Union, which showed right-wing politicians faring much better than expected. Reads a Dow Jones Newswire headline today: Europe's nationals could stoke inflation, curb fiscal discipline. Asian and European stock indexes were mixed overnight. U.S. stock indexes are pointed toward weaker opening when the New York day session begins. The major U.S. indices are not far below their recent record highs. The key outside markets today see the U.S. dollar index firmer. NYMEX crude oil prices, crude oil prices are weaker and trading around $77.50 a barrel. And the benchmark for the 10-year U.S. Treasury note yield is presently at 4.44%. U.S. economic data due for release today includes the weekly Johnson Red Book Retail Sales Report, the NFIB Small Business Index, and the FOMC meeting beginning. Now, technically speaking, let's bring up the chart of gold. Technically speaking, gold have lost overall near-term technical advantage. A bearish double top right here is being set, or has been set. This is a double top where I have also my resistance. Now, this bearish double top reversal pattern has formed on the daily candlestick chart to suggest a near-term market top is in place. So therefore, this will be most likely our targets. If we see a continuation of this movement to the upside, we can expect obviously some resistance previously to this particular zone, where before the double top was created, the market was trying to move higher, but it had created also a level of resistance right around that level. So that level would be right around 2,354 and change, right? But anyhow, let's see. I'm expecting for gold to continue moving higher towards that. Now, in talking about silver, No, silver have the overall near-term technical advantage, but faded. Price uptrend on this daily candlestick chart has been negated to suggest the near-term market top is in place. The same double top created last week is here. So that $30 psychological resistance number having to be in place. Let's see if today, even though the market did fluctuate to the downside and kind of bouncing off this $29 level, will it be able to surpass initially this $30 level? RSI is below the 50 marker it's inside the RSI history, and this implies that downward pressure is being accumulated. So keep that in mind. As far as let's go back to the indices. As far as the indices go, so we saw yesterday it tried to make try to make new highs. It did close in the green, but it didn't really meet Friday's high. So still, we could say that the market is still looking to sustain itself north of 19,000. Okay, obviously the reports of corporate earnings has really wind down. The only one that is on that is the biggest one is Oracle that will be reporting today. So keep that in mind. So perhaps we could see another fluctuation to the upside, but you just never know. As far as the S&P goes, whenever it loads, well, the same token goes for the S&P as we see here. That 5,500 marker by the end of the month, we've gotten close to it. We passed that high created on May 23rd that I spoke about in my previous videos. So let's see what will happen today if the market will decide will this just be a short pullback and then continue to the upside? That's what we want to be able to see. Let's see what will happen today. As far as the Dow Jones goes, well, the Dow Jones is having a much stronger fluctuation to the downside. So let's see if it'll come down as far as yesterday's low wick, which is around 38,718 and change. Crude oil, that 77.50 and change. Today we did fluctuate toward the $78, and we did pull back from here. Could this be just some sort of a profit taking? Because yesterday we did close above it and we broke that. So I'm not gonna be that aggressive. I'm just gonna leave it to 78.60, if you will. We are in the medium of the Bollinger Band. Okay, it seems to have been looking for a reversal from the medium of the Bollinger Band. So let's see what will happen. I'm still being bullish on crude oil, so bite my tongue if it happens otherwise. So Nat Gas, whenever it loads, Nat Gas, come on, puppy. So it should be loading now. Nat Gas has been making a substantial movement to the upside. We're coming into summer issues, summer season in the United States. So, but also because of other scenarios with supply in Europe, Nat Gas has had a strong demand. So anyhow, we've seen here how yesterday we had a very volatile day in Nat Gas. It did fluctuate towards the $3 handle, but it quickly retreated and it closed flattish. Today we are looking more to the upside movement. RSI is about to enter in the overbought territory, so keep that in mind. I'm still being bullish with Nat Gas. All right, so we spoke about gold, right? We already saw gold still looking for movement towards the 50-day moving average into the medium. So let's see if that will happen today. Silver let's see if it'll recuperate, if it'll bounce off those lows that it has done as it did yesterday. So let's see what will happen. I'm still being bullish on silver and the metals. Copper is the demand for copper is going to just continue to rise with all this AI rhetoric. So again, let's see if we will recover. Even though it opened with a small gap up, it has been closed, obviously. So let's see if it'll move higher, at least towards the 50-day moving average again, to a 460. Bitcoin, it did had even though it had a nice jump last week, is now just fading away and it's dropping like a stone. It had done that movement of that lateral sideways movement, and then just broke to the downside. I was expecting it to break up to the upside, but let's see what happens. So I'm gonna bring down my support towards the 50-day moving average. I'm gonna bring down my resistance to right about 71,000. Okay, the currencies, euro yesterday just took a strong plunge, as we saw that yesterday, just closing below 108, and today, whenever it loads, it seems to be continuing that trajectory towards the 107 handle. So I'll keep that in mind. Perhaps just going with the flow, going with the momentum, going with the short-term trend or intraday trend. So selling the currency, or could it be just a moment for it to continue? I'll wait to buy it at 107 when it bounces off the 107 psychological support level. The pound is looking better than the euro. So let's see if today it'll come back up to meet last week's highs, or last week where it just tumbled from right around 1.28. And the dollar index is the one that has been rallying, making things tougher for metals and the currencies. So let's see if today will be the day that it will decide to sell off. But again, it opened with a small gap up. It has been closed, even though right now it's kind of fluctuating to the downside. So I could speculate that it will continue to move to the upside. That's it for me today. Have a great trading day, and I will see you tomorrow.